Hello everyone, this is Empress Marita. I am here for a video, and this is the third attempt to make this video. Okay, wrong button. This is my third attempt to make this video, because a second ago the wind blew so hard that it blew everything over that I had set up. So I had it fixed so that you could see the water, but it seems that you may not be able to see the water in my face. So, trying to see if I can rig it up better, but I'm just going to start talking. And from time to time, you can see the sky good enough. Alright, today, you guys, I want to talk about some things that I know have been... this is a hard video to make. Look at the windstorm. Dust storm. Oof. Wow. I wish I could show all this dust. I'm trying to get it in my eyes. Okay. I'm here. They want to bring the wind, bring it. I'm still going to make this video. It got stronger. That's alright. Truth going to come out. What I want to talk about today is God is here. If you didn't know before, a lot of y'all about to find out. You know, in my last video, I was talking about how I was raised in the church. And, we all are sinners. But, I've always kept God in my heart. I'm not perfect at all. We all fall short of the glory, but I've tried to live a life that my kids can be proud of when they look back and think about who their mother was. My life has not been easy by any means, but one thing I noted is that God has always been with me through all my hard times, my struggles. Man, my life is like a movie, and it will be. But this is just a snippet of what's to come. And don't try to steal what I'm talking about, my story, because it's all going to be documented that this is mine. It's going to be copyrights on it, for sure. And you will get sued to the fullest extent of the law, because God gave me this life journey, and there's nobody else's story to tell but mine. And can't nobody tell my story better than me, for sure. So, I'm gonna just start off with, this is not a video that I'm making out of fear. Even though what I'm about to expose, a lot of people, and to be honest, I was afraid to talk about it at first, because I did have a tinge of fear in me. I had a fear for me. I had a fear for my children, the people I love. But it needs to be told, because some of the things that I've been through, I'm not the only one in this world who's been affected by it, even though before now I really had no idea as to what extent that, people went through stuff like this. And it's funny that I happen to have this t-shirt I got on today. But let me get to the point. What I want to talk about is, some people are born with spiritual gifts. We all grew up watching superhero movies and stuff like that. Batman, Robin, the Joker. Some people really got powers, psychic powers. They can make airbenders, can make stuff move with their minds. There are people out here that are clairvoyant, all the voyants. And, we all know of them. We all heard of them. We all know of psychics. But then there are some people who are really, really in tune with God, spirit realm, whatever you want to call it. We right here now, we in the 3D, right? You go to sleep, you dream, you can go into different spiritual realms, you can travel. You know, yeah, I always had dreams when I was a kid. I used to have horrible dreams when I was a kid. I used to have dreams so bad when I was a kid that I didn't even want to go to sleep. Like, and I probably wasn't even I was probably in my 30s before I really even talked about my dreams. And I confided in my husband about my dreams, thinking that it was safe to talk about that with him. But I was wrong. Try not to cry. I'm not gonna cry because it's like people out here fishing. They gonna think I'm crazy over here making a video crying. So I want y'all to feel my heart though. I want y'all to feel my soul. I want the world to know I'm not lying. I would never want attention so bad that I would make up some shit like this. You know, I'm mentally stable. I'm a productive citizen. I do all kinds of things. You know, I make sure that my kids are taken care of. I'm a single mom, widow, however you want to look at it. But single mom, whatever category you want me to put in, I take care of my kids by my damn self. Period. You know, their dads are. I say that to say, you know, I'm a stable person. I work hard. For everything I've ever owned. You know, I've owned houses, multiple cars, school buses. I dabble in a lot of stuff, but trust and believe, I ain't never had to scheme, rob, steal. I ain't do nothing like that to put my life on the line or my well-being on the line or anything to shame my family. I would never do that. You know, I have respect for God, number one, and I know that God lives within me. So I have respect for the God in me to want more for myself. Now my nose is running. To want more for myself than to want to go out here and try to have to hurt anybody to get anything that I need in this world. You know, no matter how bad times have got, God has always seemed to come through in the clutch and just whatever I needed just would appear. I never had to beg anybody. Because truth be told, you know, I never really had that much support growing up. And people might look at me from the outside looking in and think, well, you came from a two-parent home. You got a brother and sister. I got an older half-brother. He didn't grow up in the house with us, though. We had different moms, so he's like, I don't know, 15, 20 years older than me, so we really never had too tight of a bond. We cool, but he was more closer to my oldest brother because they were closer in age. I was like a little kid when I was like in elementary school when he was graduating from like college, so there's a big age gap there. But I love him nonetheless. Um, you know, it's back to what I was talking about my dreams. But anyways, yeah. When I was younger, I can't tell you how I know, but I know. But when I was younger, there were some adults around me who noticed that there was something different about me. And these people did witchcraft on me. Don't ask me how I know, but just know that I know. And there is proof. There is proof. These people did so much witchcraft on me that eventually it backfired. One of the rituals they did, that shit backfired. And when it backfired on my dad. Now, people on the outside think my dad died of colon cancer. But he just got sick all of a sudden. And I watched my dad, who was a strong, smart, intelligent business owner. He was a black man who was just, to me as a little girl, my dad was larger than life. He was my best friend. And they killed him. They killed my dad. Now, people on the outside gonna say, oh, he died of cancer. But anybody who knows anything about anything, you know, I didn't grow up knowing nothing about witchcraft, knowing nothing about the dark arts, the chills cold, about black magic or nothing like that. I was raised in church. I was told to stay away from that kind of stuff, so I did. The most I ever done was like, I was at a state fair. I hope people can hear me in this video because the wind is blowing. I was at a state fair and I got my palms read. And I think I was in somewhere, and that was like twice in my whole life that I ever, got my palm read. And I was with other people. It was just like something to do at an event. But people were really accurate though. So I was like, this is kind of cool. But growing up in the church, my grandmother used to tell me to stay away from what she would call gypsies. She was like, gypsies can steal your soul. And that kind of scared the shit out of me. It scared me straight. So I never did any type of stuff like that before. But whatever I was going through in life, I always trusted in God to know that it would get better. After my dad died, he died when I was 10 years old. I was in the 5th grade. And I was so hurt. I was so crushed. I felt like my life was over. And don't get me wrong, I love both of my parents. But my mom, sometimes I just didn't always feel like she had my best interests at hand. And I just chalked it up to maybe it's because, she dealing with the loss of my dad as well. So I always tried to be I overcompensated to make her proud. I was a high achiever. And not because anybody was actually even looking at my report cards or gave me a curfew. But it was just like, I wanted to prove to my dad, to my mom, to my family that, I could be somebody. Because, for a while there, in my mind, I just thought that, I had the thought of like, fuck it. You know, I see other people out here doing drugs, smoking weed, doing all kinds of stuff, but I never engaged in any of that. I left home when I was 17. As soon as I graduated from high school, I found me an apartment, signed up for school, for college, and tried my best to get out of Dodge. And it worked for a little while. I tried to stay away from, I didn't feel at home, and I never really knew why. Now that I'm in my, I don't want to tell my age, but now that I'm older, recently, especially recently, I mean, I always was getting little signs from God that He was with me, but until here recently, y'all, I uncovered a bunch of shit. But it took me going through a rough marriage where I was emotionally not treated the best. That sometimes people have to get pushed to their breaking point for their just like any other superhero. You got to get pushed to your breaking point before you even know what your powers are. And that's exactly what happened to me. I got pushed to my breaking point. As soon as I got to start talking about it, the wind started blowing sand in my face. As soon as I got pushed to my breaking point and I let go and I got away from everybody except for my kids, and I moved away from the city I lived in when I separated from my husband, and kind of started fresh in a new city, and I was still being harassed by him. I was getting harassed by him. I was getting harassed by his family. He was sending people to harass me. Ended up, people don't think I know, but the bitch that he was messing with, excuse me, I want everybody to be able to watch my video, so excuse my language. He ended up messing with this crazy bitch that, come to find out, him and her started doing witchcraft on me. My husband, he was still my husband at the time because we weren't legally divorced. I was trying to get legally divorced from him, but during COVID, it was just taking a while. But him and his chick got with some other people in his family and in my family and my friends and his friends, and these people were gang stalking me, y'all. These people were gang stalking me, like around the clock gang stalking me. These low vibe, low budget, no soul having, no life having mofos was watching me, y'all, and I could see them. Like, they won't even slick about it. These gang stalkers were like the dumbest on earth that they sent. And I noticed it. And, but if anybody knows anything about stalking, it's hard to prove that people are stalking you. I mean, you can take pictures of unknown cars. You can take pictures of somebody sitting in their car on your street. But if you call the cops, they're going to be like, oh, you're just being paranoid. That person's going to pull off before the cops get there. Excuse me. It's really hard to prove that people are gang stalking you. Hell, it's hard to prove that somebody done put some damn black magic on you. How the hell do you prove some shit like that, right? But God. But God. I'm going to tell you what. I got a hell of a spiritual team. I can be anywhere by myself. And I'm never alone. People might look at me and say, oh, I'm just a regular chick. T-shirt. Regular on the outside. But there's nothing regular about me. And I always knew that there was something different about me, but I never could have imagined in a million years, with my own mind, with my own limited knowledge, with my own human mind, that God had blessed me with the life journey that He planned on blessing me with. And God is so good. God is so good. I've always been able to predict things before they happen. I won't reveal how I know and how I get that knowledge, because I feel like that's between me and my God. I call him my daddy. That's between me and my dad. I had an earthly dad. He passed on, but now when I speak to my dad directly, I know he's with me. Especially here lately, my dad has really been with me. And that might sound crazy to some people, but then to other people, it shouldn't sound crazy at all. You believe in God. If you've ever truly lost, ooh, that's a little bit better, so it won't be so much on my face, because gosh, I feel like y'all can see my every pore. God just, he's been so good. It's so many times that people, y'all, they sent Hitman after me. Hitman, Hittman. They sent a hitman after me to kill me. And each time, something would happen. Either the hitman would, car would break down, car accident, and the hitman had even followed me for a while. Let me tell y'all what happened. Hitman fuck around and fell in love with me. But um, but the hitman noticed that I can't tell y'all all the details, but let's just say that the hitman couldn't perform his job. More than one hitman. My family paid my ex-husband to watch me. I've had spiritual hitmen after me. Spiritual hitmen after me. Like, people paid to do black magic to literally kill me. Some of the things and the spells they were trying to do was to stop me from having a stable foundation, heart chakra. They wanted to make it so that I had no faith in myself. They wanted to make it sure they did spells to block my creativity. If anybody knows me, they know I'm a very creative person. I like to sing, I like to dance, I like to paint, I like to do hair, I like to do everything. Like, I'm a very creative person. I went to school for electrical. I'm a certified electrician by trade. Like, I used to be an electrician in a power plant, running wires, changing light bulbs, getting up on poles, getting in man lift, getting up on high things, installing circuit breaker panels, up to like 7,200 volts, like anything. I understand how the whole power plant system works, from how they bring water off the river and turn to steam, which turns, I understood the whole process. I did it for years, and then I got promoted to actually train other people and to be in charge of training a whole department of everybody who was hired in the state of Virginia to. Yeah, I'm doing a video, son. And so everything So, that was such a distraction. But, yeah, basically I was doing my thug business. And, and I'm not saying that to brag, but I'm saying that to say, then I got into real estate. I was very interested in real estate, so I started buying properties to renovate them. I really was interested in architecture, but I went to school for energy technology. So I never had any formal training to do any type of home renovations, but I did know the electrical side of how to hook up and wire a house up. So, I knew that part. So then I would just bring other people in to do the other parts of the renovations that I wasn't skilled in doing. I would do the design portion. I would map it out. I would redesign the layout of the house and making sure that walls were restructured and make sure that, load bearing walls were where they're supposed to be and didn't move, and anything else that I could change as far as the layout, I would do that. I love architecture. I love being creative. Like, that's my thing. Um, I lived in a house in Caroline County for like 8 years with my very first boyfriend I ever had. We had a child together. We were together for like 7 years. He ended up, man, he was my first boyfriend, and he he was bipolar. Never got any medication for it. I ended up breaking up with him. I had a baby by somebody else. Then I got back with him for a hot second for like a year. Shit just wasn't working out. Broke up with him. I was single for a while. I still lived in my same house. And then that's when I met my husband. He lived in Richmond and I lived in Caroline, but I worked in Richmond. Same state, just different counties. And I would commute every day to Richmond. So I ended up meeting him. We dated for a minute and he asked me to marry him. We got married. He got into some legal trouble. Well, before we got married, before I even met him for the second time. First time I met him, I turned him down. I met him actually when I had a boyfriend, my first boyfriend. So I was like, no, I'm dating somebody. I don't cheat like that. So he was like, all right. So, holla at you next time. I didn't see the dude for a couple years later again. And when I met up with him, um, not met him, but I ran into him. We were at a red light. I looked over. I didn't recognize him. He recognized me. He wanted my number. I mean, this dude pursued me. He pursued me hard. He pursued me hard. And then once we started dating, I really fell for him. And then he told me that I'm telling too much. Okay, my business. But anyways, he ended up got married. We had a child together. Beautiful little girl. Um, and but then I started just seeing like a real jacked up side of him that I didn't see at first. And we stayed together for quite a few years, and then I just couldn't take it anymore. And I was like, something got to give. You're going to have to either get the fuck out or something, because, you want to go to therapy, something. He just had a lot of demons he was fighting, and I didn't see none of that. I was blind. Love is definitely blind, because I didn't see any of that shit coming. But he was doing most. I never really had proof he was cheating, but sometimes as a woman, you don't need proof. When somebody ain't being faithful. So we ended up separating. We went to therapy a time or two, but he just couldn't get right. He had a problem with alcoholism. And it just wasn't going to work out. He wasn't being the male role model that I really needed for my daughters. He was too wrapped up in materialism, being seen. He always wanted to be out at the bar, out at the club, like. Started talking about the devil. The devil show up. Yeah. So yeah. All that. As soon as I start talking about certain topics, it goes crazy. So, oh, can't see my eyes. Yeah, so, but through the years, like, I would see little things going on with people in my family, like, I felt like I was a stay-at-home mom, like, while I was married. I would work here or there, but for the most part, I had purchased my house cash, and I had renovated it myself. Like, I stripped the house down to the studs, redid the basement, changed the floor plan, new steps down to the basement. I was really hooking my house up. New electrical, new plumbing. It was like a brand new house on the inside. Looked like an older house on the outside, but sometimes when you live certain places, it's better to not let people know what's going on behind your closed doors, or not behind, but know what you got in your house. So if it looked old on the outside, that's all right with me, because that means if you're smart, that means your property taxes are still low. The more you improve your home, the more it's going to increase the value, and that's more tax you were paying. So I never got around to doing the outside of the house like I really wanted to. I just did. I hand painted it. It had wood siding on it, and I scraped it, and I ended up doing some hand paint job on the outside of my house. I know, right? That's a lot of work. But I say that to say, like, I don't mind getting my hands dirty. I don't mind working for what I want and putting in the effort. But my husband, he never really helped me. I ain't gonna say, well, he provided for me financially, but when it came to like doing anything, he he was too busy trying to be cute. and so either way, I did that shit by myself. So when I divorced him, I reaped the benefits, and I took my money and my investment when I sold my home, and I moved somewhere else, and I started the process all over again. But I didn't know at that time that he had people following me. I had no idea that my husband would take it to the extent of being mad that I didn't want nothing to do with him. Like, I had to ice dude out because he was wilding. I didn't have proof, but I knew in my heart of hearts, I knew that he was out here doing the most. And I didn't want no part of that. I wanted a marriage that was built on morals and principles. And I wanted God in my foundation with my marriage. And when I seen that my husband wasn't on board with that, and he was just making a mockery of what God had put together, and it wasn't just that, he was just being hella immature, like listening to his friends, hanging out in the streets all the time. It's just like he couldn't grow the fuck up. I was on my grown woman shit, and he was still on some old 21, 22-year-old shit, and we well into our late 20s, and I'm trying to build a legacy and generational wealth, and this dude, he just want to stunt and put on polo and take pictures and have bottles of Hennessy. Like, when you gonna grow up, dude? And he was listening to a lot of fucked up family members, excuse my language, but that's just what it is. A lot of low vibrational people who didn't have his best interest at hand. And I used to tell him that all the time. I used to be like, dang, why is you hanging with this person? Like, dude don't got nothing going on in his life. Like, why? And it seemed to me that he used to hang with people that he was doing better than, so that he could feel like he was the man around these people. And I was like, I seen it for what it was. I was like, you a lame for that. Like, get with some people who are on your level that can help you grow, you know. But you can't tell nobody nothing, because then you say, you always nagging me. Okay. So when we separated, I went my own way. He had this chick doing this, doing that. Not just the chick that he was fucking with. He also had this family members. And I'm gonna cut this video because it's at 34 minutes, but I'm gonna continue my story, okay? Just click on the next video. I'll be right back.